I do look for men who are exactly like my dad.
Exactly. Hi guys, it's your girl Umangobo back on your screens. Boo 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 boo. Why are you putting that face in?
What should I do?
I feel like every time I have a person and I do the boo 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 boo, like people are just like, okay.
You always see this on the
So
screen.
what should I do whilst doing?
No, do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Why are you paying attention to how we react?
You are the guest. Okay, hi guys, it's your girl Umangobo back on your screens. So today's video is about parenting. And it's about finding a balance between being a strict parent and being a lenient parent, where you just obviously, not necessarily being a lenient parent, but building a relationship so where your child trusts you and your child can actually come to you for advice or come to you when they're in trouble, all of this. So I don't really know what to call it, like the opposite of being a strict parent, basically.
It's like a balance.
Yeah, like finding a balance. So that's what we're pretty much talking about. But before that, I want you guys to look at what I'm wearing. So this is a brand. It's a P&B brand, and it's from a guy who pretty much like he pretty much sells quite a lot of things. So he sells sweaters, the one that I have here, and then there's a beanie. This is a beanie, right? This is what you call a beanie.
I don't know, but it's cute.
Yeah, and he has hats, those bucket hats, and he sells like sport dresses, he sells vests and all of those things, and the quality is amazing. It's really good. And excuse me. So if you're interested in this brand, so it's SABS. That's the name of the brand, and it's SABS, and then it has like jeans and it's like SJ here. So it's really, it's nice and simple. I even like the branding. Yeah, it's really nice and simple. It's like, it's not like too much and on your face, and that's pretty much like what you get on clothing. You can even bring your own clothing, like if you have maybe a t-shirt that you like and you want it to be branded by this brand, you can take it to them and then they can brand it for you as well. So if you're interested, and if you are in P&B, even if you're not in P&B, so you can just call them up and then they can hook you up. And the quality of the products, it's really, really good. So please, I am plugging you like always. So from my heart to your hearts, please support. So I'll put the information on the description. So just to go over just a couple of prices, like so hats are like 150, cap it's 100 rand, a t-shirt is 190, a vest is 170, and then jackets are 550, pants are 500 rands, and also they have quite a lot of things, even socks and sandals and ladies jackets, ladies track pants, ladies full track suits, all of that. So it's very affordable, very accessible, and you guys know that I hate it when I have to spend a lot of money, so I'm always looking for affordable but good quality products, and this product is good quality.
I actually agree.
Yeah, it is good quality, and she hardly agrees with me, so Okay, so please do support. I'll leave the details right down below. I'll leave the phone number, how you can contact them, their Instagram page as well. And then please, guys, support local brands. Okay, with that being said, let's move on to what the video is about today. Okay, parenting. Okay, so growing up, me personally, my parents were okay. So at home, there's 4 of us, okay, and it's all girls, okay. My parents are married, and growing up, I grew up in a home where I had both my parents and my obviously with my sisters as well. I do not have a brother. It's all girls. And my dad, in comparison to both my parents, if I were to compare my parents, my dad was much stricter than my mom is, even though my mom was strict. But then most of the time, my mom reinforced like my dad's strictness, if that's like a word to use. So it was so I grew up in a home where I wasn't really comfortable in terms of sharing my thoughts or sharing how I felt at the moment, to a point where at some point they would say I'm moody, or they would say I would just lock myself in the room if I'm not feeling well, or if I'm going through something, whether it's boys related, whether it's I'm in trouble with something, or whether it's I'm just going through some stage, because growing up you go through different stages. And I found that because I had such strict parents, it wasn't easy for me to go to my mom, because obviously as a girl, a mom is who you're going to go to. So it wasn't easy for me to just go straight up to my mom and be like, Mom, I'm having this, or someone has done this, and all of that. Because her response, I was very afraid of her response. Even though I could talk to my mom about other things, but then things that affected me as a girl, and especially growing up, it was really hard for me to do that. And the reason why is because my parents were very strict. My dad, I would hardly have a conversation with my dad, even till now. Like I wouldn't say I have a relationship with my dad, because he was very strict, and I understand where he came from.
But it
obviously
also really ruins the relationship.
It ruins the relationship.
You can't be yourself, you know, and your parents should be. There should be a safe space for you. Yeah. And they're the first person you should think of when something happens to you. But it's like they're the last people, because you know that. I think it comes with, you know, tradition and old ways of parenting.
And also you don't trust how they're going to respond. Even if your mom tells, okay, you can tell me, trust me, but they respond, you're afraid.
You know, it's a
trap. Like, okay. If I tell her, you feel like it's a trap. Now, okay,
it's a trap.
You're saying I should tell you, but then
it's like they can use that against you in any time, and it really violates your relationship. It really does violate your emotions in a way. I don't know how to word it. Yeah, but it's that's why it's very important to be a very good safe space for your kid from the get-go, so that when they grow up, they don't have to make YouTube videos and say, you know. And
complain about
your parents. Oh my God.
Your parenting skills.
You know? And we're not perfect parents.
Yeah,
nobody is perfect.
No, it's
just an observation, and also parenting is an experience thing. It's a reference. Yeah. You should always know.
Yeah, and just because your mom did whatever, and growing up you would know as a child that, okay, I'm mistreated and this is wrong. And then just because your mom did it that way, it doesn't mean that you should break that generational cycle. Yes. You know, because you have experienced as well, because our parents did experience what we went through in terms of their parenting. True, and then they unconsciously, so they do not make a conscious decision in terms of reevaluating their parenting and actually trying to better or change the cycle in terms of parenting.
It's always like, because
it ends up being toxic as well. And it also ruins your future relationships as well.
Oh my God. It does. Because you really damage kids. Like, unintentionally so, because everybody wants good kids when they grow up. Yeah. But it really does damage, because the way you'd relate to, especially as you say, your relationship with your dad, it's going to be hard to have relationships with men if you don't have, because your dad is your first relationship with a man. And if you don't have that, it's always going to be toxic. Yeah. Like, you're always going to it's always gonna be bad because your first reference is your dad.
And I read this. I can't remember where I read it. It's like the first man to break your heart is your dad,
your father,
and also that influences your future relationships.
And even with me, I feel like I did have a relationship. My relationship with my dad was, I don't know, there's lots of us. It's a whole lot of complications. But I did have a sort of a relationship before he died, and I feel like I understood the man he was, but it doesn't mean that it was healthy. But when you talk about relationships, I feel like I do look for because my dad was a gentleman, was there. I do look for men who are like my dad. I do look for men who are exactly like my dad.
Exactly. I promise you. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to mention names.
No.
But trust me. Yeah, actually, judging from the guys that I've dated, I see that.
You just realized that.
I just had an epiphany. I see a lot of my dad in those guys. Like, think about it. I see a lot of my dad, and when a guy introduces something new, I tend to get a bit like
like, are you a man?
Are you? Yeah, because you sort of try and understand the role of and also like re-evaluating your past as well does help in terms of, because your past relationships, you learn from them and you learn to read characters as well. And I feel like my past relationships have helped me quite a lot in terms of being able to filter and being able to understand if I'm heading towards like the end of a cliff, or because also my intuition has forever been strong in terms of forever been strong, and I had to really trust my intuition, because for me it has never failed me.
I feel like
and that's why
it makes your intuition is very intellectual, and it just embodies you.
And it's creepy, and sometimes like my intuition is the creepiest thing ever, because like, I would feel that there's something wrong about a person. Like I would really feel, even if I'm like heads over the heels about someone, but then I would feel like there's something wrong. It does influence even with your friendships as well. It's not only just relationships in terms of, obviously your lover and whatsoever. So it does also, it even impacts how you move around other people as well, because sometimes if you're like, it helps also your socializing skills, because for me, I was the child that kept to myself, because I wasn't allowed, not necessarily that my parents were like, okay, shut up, sit down, and you're not allowed to talk, but then I wasn't allowed to be myself in a way,
I feel like most of us will relate to that, because especially with black families. Now I was raised by my sister, and she always said, like, it's always the advice, be at home, like, trust home more than outsiders, and you develop this mistrust and not opening up yourself towards, I mean, it's understandable, but it's also, it's not realistic. It's not, because you have to learn to socially, you have to make friends. My sister didn't like friends. She'd be like, because my mom didn't like friends, and that's the advice that she gave her, and I remember she would say it over and over. My mom used to say, do not trust friends, which I understand where it comes from, but I feel like it was also like, it comes from, it's not realistic, because I mean, friends are there,
they're there, like pretty much everywhere you go.
You should just know how to navigate, socialize, make friends, and it comes from home. It comes from how you are taught to socialize with other people in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But if you just taught fear, everyone, don't trust anyone, and even if you start dating, you get shamed for it, you know, which is a natural state. You know, we should, as parents, we should do better into understanding when our kids are even as young as 8, kids would have crushes and
being able to talk about
it, because it's not, there's nothing, it's natural, and it's something that passes, you know, like they can crush on this one and then tomorrow that one, and it's just the end,
and being able to interpret what it is as well, because sometimes that's why we sometimes even get a lot, especially in our Black communities. That's why we get early pregnancies and all that, because sometimes you can't even differentiate between you, like the difference between you being gravitated towards someone because you just like them, and gravitating towards someone because you have feelings for them, and what those feelings are, you know. So sometimes we can't really filter because we do not have that person that is actually going to guide us. Okay, so this is how you feel, but then don't allow the other person to take advantage of those feelings because you feel that way for that person doesn't mean that you should, you know.
And also, like,
practice
freedom. There's no freedom. And when we date, we're just looking for freedom. And it's a wrong way to look for freedom. From a lover, it's just too much. Because you don't have it at home. You don't have it. You're just looking to have this person where you can just be yourself.
Because even like, we were just chatting with my sisters this other day, and we were talking about how, like, our dad would never tell us that he loves us.
Yeah.
I promise you, if my dad was to tell me that he loves me right now, I will literally cry tears. Because that's just how that I've never,
that's
like, that word, like, for me, that's my love language.
Yeah, that's how you longed it as a kid. Why can't you?
Yeah. So for me, words of affirmation is my love language. And my dad, if he was to give me that affirmation, because even till now, I'm a grown-ass woman. But if he were to affirm me in terms of him loving me as my father,
I think Black parents don't do that.
I would cry.
They don't tell you they love you.
They don't. To a point
mothers
where if a boy...
Though, I think mothers kind of show it, you know, you see it. And, you know, but fathers...
Yeah, they never. To a point where if a boy... of which obviously you're going to gravitate towards because he's like the other male figure that is going to be there in your life. If a boy gravitates towards you and then you start a relationship and he gives you what you're not getting from your dad, and you start look just like what you were saying, you look for something that you're not getting from home, from outside. It's like when also...
That's how you start rebelling.
Yeah.
You feel like, I'm myself here. You know, I'm appreciated. You know? And at home, I don't get that. I get to feel shame about myself.
And my feelings.
Because when you grow, you have feelings. And if you can't... We are made of feelings. And our kids are made of feelings. They feel. And... when they have to understand their feelings. You don't have to answer their feelings. You can help them understand because they're not you. I'm not my child. He's not me. I went through my own struggles. I'm doing my own mistakes as a parent. But making sure that you affirm your kids' feelings and you are there to even, because sometimes you wouldn't, this is another person.
That's true.
You know, who's experiencing a different time. This is not your time. And you should be able to understand that and be able to be there to whatever you know. I'm gonna be there. I mean,
it's guidance.
You know, guidance. And know that it doesn't mean that they're not gonna get hurt. Things are gonna happen. They should know. Your kids should know that you are there for life.
And then if you're not there, they're going to start looking for what is lacking from outside, and then that's where the problem starts. That's when the problem starts. It's also like lento yokuthi into emnandi, into entshontshiwe, into emnandi iyalokhunje, like into entshontshiwe imnandi. What am I saying?
So it comes from like, that being sneaky kids.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you start, like, for some of us, like, learn to lie because we're hiding things from our parents. We become really good liars. That's what.
And I'm a horrible liar.
That's what strict parents do.
You know, like, I'm a horrible liar. Yeah. My sister, I remember when we were growing up, because my older sister was our parent. When we were growing up, my younger sister was the one, because I literally didn't understand why we had to lie. And but I understood that I can't tell my sister
the truth.
But then I'm like, why should I lie though? And my sister would come through because she's the best liar. I always give her that. So she's like, I'm gonna lie for you, girl. She used to lie for me.
Give us a scenario.
Like, there's this guy. I was doing matric. There's this guy who wanted me. Yes. So this guy wanted me, and okay, my sister was like, no, just give me a chance, whatever, because my sister was like my friend back then. Give me a chance. I'm like, okay. I gave a guy a chance, and he really liked me, Shem. And then we went and saw him. I think we went somewhere and saw him.
Yeah.
And he gave us 200 rand. That was a lot of money, guys. And I was shocked. So what am I gonna say to my I was just like, take the money, girl, take the money. I'm gonna lie for you. I mean, there was no need for me. There was no need for me to even show my sister. But I was a kid. I was still a kid, and my sister, we always like together.
Like strict parents raise good liars.
So I'm like, no, what am I gonna do? He's like, no, let's take the money and I'm just gonna lie for you. And she lied. She told my sister, Siko, Shili man. Yo, and I get a drama. Yo, can you believe what happened? Just say, Hambela. That was one.
Now go to
200. I'm like, and I'm watching this bitch is like, but it's one of those. And she would lie for me, and not a lot of time, but sometimes she would just lie for me.
I remember as well. I think I should do like story times about this. I remember there was when I was in high school. So this guy asked me out on a date. I was in an all-girls school, but then obviously like we would socialize with guys outside school, blah blah.
Boys' college guys.
Yeah. So there was this guy that asked me out on a date, okay, and then so obviously I'm not gonna go to my mom and say, okay, mom, I'm going out on a date. Of course not. So I was like, no, I'm going to the library or art gallery, something like, because I was an art student. So I was like, mom, I'm going to an art gallery, all the matrics. I think I was in matric as well. So all the matrics are going to the art gallery. There's an exhibition, blah, blah. I came up with this story, this, and also growing up, like my parents really trusted me.
You are trustworthy.
I am trustworthy. Like, look at this face.
She's so innocent.
So, and then, so yes, I lied. And then, so obviously we're catching taxis, blah, blah, blah. The guy buys me like a bouquet of flowers. We go to the movies. We do,
I remember that story.
You told me. So it was such a perfect day. We went to the park. It was like so romantic and cute. It was like, if I think back, like, shame that guy. He outdid himself. It was my first like real date as well. So I feel like as a mom, like, and then you come back home, it's like, how did it go? I wish I had that with my mom.
Yeah.
So and also like, it wasn't, the relationship wasn't sexual, and at that time I wasn't even sexually active.
It's not really. It's just this thing that you experience when somebody treats you good.
So it was so innocent.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy bought me and you know how it happened. So we went to the movies, and then after that we were going to go to the park. And then we went to Checkers to buy like hot snacks and stuff that we were gonna eat it in the park. So here I am, like going down the aisles looking for, snacks and stuff. And then when we entered Checkers, so at that time Checkers had like flowers by the entrance. So he asked. So
Checkers, I think Checkers had that even.
So, it was the school. It was the Checkers. So what happened is, so he saw so he asks me, so not the bunch of flowers, so he asks me, so which ones would you like? Yeah. And I'm like, and I pointed at the white roses. And it's like, okay. And then we take the trolley, we go, and then all of a sudden the guy disappears. And then so we pick stuff, and then the next thing he's coming with the roses. And it was the cutest thing ever. It was like the cutest thing. I know, it was the cutest date. Like it was even till now, like it's the cutest dates that I've ever had in my life.
It was genuine. It wasn't about. It was just...
And then he came with his roses. It was so cute. The guy even wrote a song for me.
I know. Oh, I know the guy.
So that experience there, it would have been so nice. Like even before I even leave home, it's like, Mom, I have a date with someone, and even tell my mom that no, it's not sexually whatever, and my mom to give me that advice that don't all of that stuff like that. Sex talk, yada blah blah. Like it protects. It protects a child from quite a lot of things as well. For a child to not start things that they're not ready for.
Yeah.
So so the story. So now the date was over. We done at the park. We were just sitting there by the swings. It was so romantic.
Oh my god.
Hi. I'm for sure the guy will watch this because
definitely.
I know, because he always likes my videos.
But did you hear?
He's the one that got away.
Ever till now. How old is she now?
So the niggas are not.
Niggas are not topping you up.
Yeah, when now. So anyways, he was accompanying me to the taxi rank. So the date is over, blah. Okay, here we go. Taxi rank. And then so we walking down Long Market. Here comes my dad's car passing us. And then my dad like points at me. Oh. And I can see my mom is like, she's chilling, love lives here, whatever. And my dad sees me. And then I see my dad that he sees me.
You see me, I
see you. And then, and then he points at me. And my mom was like looking. You can see when, And then my mom is like looking where I am. And then I'm like, shit.
Oh, day ruined.
That day could have ended very nicely. We go back home.
Like your dad waits for you. We'd be like, are you going home? Who's this?
When I got home. That guy didn't even ask any questions.
Because
when you're in a taxi and you wish that you are the person sitting next to you. Because you know that you're going to get
I know it. Like your lives are so good.
I remember there was a lady sitting in front of me and she was carrying a child that was like, I wish I was that child. At this moment. Because in just nuka. And when I entered, because my house is like by the main road, so the taxi drops you in front of the house. So when I could see the blinds. Oh my god! My dad is like, "Oh, here's my bitch coming." When I entered,
where are your flowers?
No, I didn't my flowers. I was carrying a bag. I was like, this is my first bouquet of flowers that I've gotten from a guy. I squished them in my bag. Oh. The
trauma stress.
I was like, I'm not gonna throw these away.
But parents, guys,
I was like, I am not throwing this bouquet away. This is my first bouquet. I'm not gonna throw it away. I had my own bedroom, so I was like, I locked up my bedroom until the flowers died. every time I leave my bedroom, I'll open the door and be like, block. So that my parents won't see the bouquet. Because I denied. I was like, no, the guy, we were walking as a group to the text ring, and obviously people were just like,
Yeah.
And then it just happened that it was just the two of us. And it's not that anything was happening between the things that I've been through because of Ngobo, guys. But anyway.
Oh man.
So
parents are terrorists.
They're toxic. They're toxic.
They're terrorists. Like, how can you ruin that?
It was such a, so I feel like it would have been such an amazing day.
And also your relationship with your parents at that time is like, like you are on, when you're in love, you're just very generous and they could have fed from that. I'd feed from that from when my kid becomes in love with I'd feed from that because they're in a very healthy emotional state and in a very light.
Yeah.
And even I think in parenting becomes easy.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're in love and also I'm teaching a person who's happy is very
it's easy,
than just a child who's like,
because you end up becoming your child's enemy.
Yes, because now you are an enemy of progress.
Progress, then. So looking progress.
Sorry, already. Oh man, let's not do this. To our
Please
kids.
don't. And also, though, it's not only just strict parents that like on the wrong or whatever. Obviously, like parents do become strict because of their experiences. Not that we just blaming
and what they know.
And also, I feel like if my parents were not as strict as they were, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have worked as hard as I did, or I wouldn't have tried as much as I did to get where I am.
Yeah.
Not that obviously this is the end of it. I still want more than what I have now. Obviously. And I feel like I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them being strict and not being lenient. So there's pros and cons, just like being a lenient parent as well.
I feel like being a lenient,
there's cons.
One is more top tier.
Yeah.
And our parents really, really, even me, because I know that, sometimes, parenting from trauma, because parenting is an experience more than any perfect. It's what you know and what you make.
It's like growing up.
Yeah, it's like you reflect as a person who just gave birth to somebody. You reflect on the experiences that you know, like how at home your mother, your sister, because sometimes maybe you have children at home, the things it's just a lot of experiential doing more than just being a good parent. It's just experience. If
there's no recipe.
There's no recipe.
Yeah.
And it's always every day you just like, oh my God, am I not a horrible person? Am I not am I not ruling this kid? Basically, because that's what I worry about every day. Like, am I not ruining this?
And because you also want your kids to become their own person.
Yes.
Not to just always be reliant. For me, for my daughter, I always want her to be independent. Yeah. That is what I want. I want her to be hardworking, to be independent, and to be able to stand her ground. Yeah. It's very important to me as a parent for her to be that way. And for me, I don't believe in forcing that to her, like on her, but also just it's like things that you practice around the house that she's not conscious that actually I'm teaching her skills. Because sometimes when it's obvious that okay, uyangifundisa lona, then that's when the kids have become rebellious. But then when it, like something as simple as okay, zanokuhle, brush your teeth. You such a, like I'm so proud of you. You actually can do this. Wow. Like when she's done, it's like wow, oh, done. And my daughter loves that. Next time she's not gonna want me to brush her teeth. That I've seen. Next time she's not gonna want me to brush her teeth. She's gonna be like, okay, let me brush my teeth, and then she'll show me. Like, okay, look, mama, saying, I've brushed my teeth, and so it's you not making it obvious that actually we are fundisa, but it's just like practicing things that it should be fluent in a way, and thinking of like things that also you can instill in your child without them being aware that you actually instilling those things. Because my daughter naturally, she's an independent person, and also I think that's genetic, because she takes that from me as well, because I've always been an independent person as well. And you need to also encourage those things as well, like the points, because kids come as individuals and they come with their own traits, and for you as a parent to encourage those traits, you know, and it's very important.
Very.
Because also being a lenient parent can have its cons, in terms of you allowing your kid to just do anything and be, and just walk all over your word, and just do whatever they please around the house, or even at school,
like
or wherever,
them.
like spoiling your kid, and for them getting everything that they want. That is not what we encourage. And what we're saying is that as parents, we need to try and find a balance between the two. Like, a child can trust you as a parent, and they can also respect you as well, trust you, and take you, not necessarily to be like a friend, still be a parent, but then be able to trust you.
But also a friend and a parent in one person. Because, you know, the friendship with our parents is very important. It's very important, but also it's, you know, that this is your parents,
and they'll never.
And you know, but when they're young, also what I realize about kids is when they're young, they need you to be friends with you more than anyone else, because your friendship with them is what navigates the friendships outside.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like that's what happens with Wandile. And he loves friends. He loves friends so much, because Wandile hardly relates with a lot of kids. So when he finds a friend that he relates with, he holds on. And we navigate that friendship together weirdly. And you know, you know, sometimes I would not understand my own son, but I think I've understood Wandile more when he's in a friendship, because he really takes his friendship seriously. It's serious. So, and he would prepare things like, I want to do this for my friend, I want to prepare food for me. Like, I'm like, oh, you're very selfless and stuff. But also, I would see it when these friends are taking advantage of, and I would just,
and that's the role.
Yeah, that's
parent.
my role. That's my role. Was no, this is where I come in, and I tell him no.
And for them to learn to create boundaries.
If friends do this and that and that and that, you shouldn't. And then he's more like me. He's very thoughtful and be like, oh yeah, and whatever, and maybe be defensive because he loves the friend or whatever. But you know, I'd always, and I'd sometimes say, no, you're no longer going to that friend because he said this and that. Because you tell me when the friend says some nasty stuff in a way, and I'd be like, no.
And the fact that he's able to tell you, and it's because you've created that room for him to come back to you, and share that.
And it would be like I do it. I feel like I do that also. I remember when I was still in Cape Town, I'm like that. I see myself in my son. When I'm uncomfortable, like you also, like when I'm uncomfortable, like in friendships that I was in especially in Cape Town, I realize that I've been uncomfortable for the longest time. It's just that you cannot pinpoint, but you always tell people exactly those things that you're uncomfortable with. It's just that you want them to tell you, hey bitch, this is not a right friendship for you. And I feel like you do that very often, because when Mina, it's like I stayed, especially in those friendships, I stayed because I didn't understand why you'd be toxic to your friend. So
I feel like we are like that even in our relationships as well.
Like,
because when you feel that there's something off.
Yeah, and then Mina, I do talk about, like, I'd say man did, like, it's not even a thing of saying that he's wrong, but I'm just gonna voice it. She did this and that. And I remember this other friend of mine was like, when I was telling her, like, after the whole breakup thing with all the friends, and he said, you know, you used to tell me that Uban Mani did 1, 2, and 3, and that was you telling me that you recognize it. It's just that, you really did recognize it. It's just that you didn't know, you couldn't get out. You could, but you always diagnosed it and always talked about it. And I feel like even kids are like that. When they are uncomfortable with things, they'll just tell you.
Yeah, the intuitions are very strong.
So and so said this to me, and it's for you as a mom to interpret it. Be like, no, that's not right. And that's when you start. And because if you are if you just let it slide, that's how they go in a relationship.
And the one thing, and the one thing about kids, they never lie.
They never lie.
Never lie. So always trust. Like, kids are the most honest human beings ever. Like, they would tell you, like, the things that comes from a kid's mouth. Listen to it and trust it. Trust it, because
even if you don't understand it, even try
and understand and give them listen with understanding, or with you trying to understand where they're coming from, because it does a whole lot of good when the kid feels that their parent understands them and feels that their parent is there to protect them as well. It creates a very safe space where your child would continuously come back to you and communicate
and be able to safely go outside and be themselves, and they know that if they're not accepted, they can always come back to
mommy or daddy. Daddies are important.
Daddy, also daddy. Daddies, step up.
Papa money. So and also, there's no parent that is like better than the other.
Nope.
I feel like
we are always trying.
It should be a partnership, whether you're a mom or you're a dad. Because sometimes moms can create or instill that fear on kids. Instill a fear where kids, like, okay, when a child has done something, they'll be like, okay, what is that going to create?
Does that sound familiar? Well, I don't have the same experience because my dad was, it was a different living situation.
So they will, so those words will create
fear
or instill that fear on the child, where it will be hard for them to form a relationship with the dad, because that's what they have. But the only time I communicate with him is when or when I'm like when you're in trouble, or when you need, like, the only time with me growing up, the only time that I would communicate exactly when I communicate with my dad is when I need something from school, or when my mom is like, when I go and ask for something from my mom, and the mom is like, okay, go ask your dad, or when I know that I'm in trouble. And that's it. That's the only relationship. Exactly. That's the only time that I would communicate with my
kids,
dad.
Guys.
So
please.
I love like good relationships, especially between daughter and father relationships, where like the daughter is very close with the father and they just have this bond, and the daughter can always go to
dad.
To dad, because it creates that foundation where when the daughter meets guys or potentials out there, they know how it's like to have a good relationship with a male figure, a man, so a relationship between a daughter and a father, it creates that foundation. It's very, very important.
And I feel like, even though, to me, I'm very grateful for the relationship that I had with my dad, even though it was a 2-second, because my dad had a lot of kids. So, but I was able to secure a relationship with that guy for some reason, and he was like really, really soft and stuff, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, even though it wasn't the longest thing. Even when I was born, I didn't have it, but I really appreciate, because the memory that I have, like, there's other memories of my dad that I don't want to have, but that memory stayed with me, and those are the good parts that I look for in a man. I look for a man that's like my dad, that's neat, that loves himself, that is well spoken. My dad was well spoken, he was smart, and he loved children. Like, that was my dad. He loved children, he loved his grandchildren. And because, we were one of the youngest, so Bislingana with the grandchildren. That's why he was able to love all of us. But it's just, I loved that. I don't care about the rest. You can say whatever, but I loved that about him. And I feel like I took it, and that's what I take into me. My dad would cook for me. My dad, like, when no one was around in the house, he would cook for us. He would do everything in the house. And, I took that. I took, even if it was just a day, I took it, because that's how I feel like a man should treat.
And you end up gravitating
towards. Yes. And the men that I checked are more like that. They very, they not, I don't know, but they like my dad. That version of my dad that I like. Yeah. So it's very important. The relationship between a daughter
and the father is very important.
Is very important.
So is the relationship with a son and a mother.
Yeah,
true. Well. It's very important.
True.
So do you have anything else to say?
Except that I'm cute.
Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was very informative, and
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you, and please do share my video. And if you're new here, please do not leave without subscribing. You see that red button? Red, yes, just like our tops, t-shirts, sweater, whatever. Please click on that. It doesn't cost you a dime, please. And share this video. Tell everyone that Uma Ngobo was here, and she was here with Uma Pisa. And thank you guys for joining me. And you can follow us on Instagram. My IG handle is _mc.n, and your IG handle is?
Mine is private.
Yours is private. Oh, yay.
But you can follow me. You can befriend me on Facebook.
Yeah, I can be. What's your name?
Pisa.
Yeah, Nobile Pisa on Facebook and on Twitter. You're still using your Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Noma Pisa.
Yeah. So and No Mapisa, and
it's No with an H.
Yeah.
_ Mapisa.
Yeah, and she's very she's woke. This one. She's the Winnie Mandela.
Yes, I mean that's
the revolution queen.
Good example right there.
I know you're my friend. Like, come on. She's the revolution queen, Baba. The woke of the wokeness.
Me, that's
her.
Me.
Ladies and gentlemen. Her.
Anyway, you guys also, I wanted to add that on the subscribe thing, one of the YouTubers say you should press that thing,
the notification bell. Ooh, why would I do that to my friend?
I know.
Try me.
Try me. I am plucking you. Try me.
Never do that. Don't call me that.
Try me.